Smite is one of the easiest MOBAs to get into, being designed like that from the start. But just because Smite is one of the easiest MOBAs doesn't mean it has no depth to it. And to help dig a little deeper into Smite, for both new and old players alike, I have made this Relic guide to help take the burden off your shoulders. Hello YouTube, my name is Roddy Pyro, and this is a Relic guide for Season 7. If you guys are new to Smite, I'm going to be here around, or you guys are just interested in it, I'm going to be making these guides more often. If you haven't seen the last video, I've made a warding guide, so if you're interested, go check it out. Relics are special powers available to all gods. The variety of these powers can be overwhelming at the start, but after some time you'll get used to seeing and using them. Some relics heal while others slow enemies down. Your first relic is free at level 1, and your second relic will be unlocked once you reach level 12. With 500 gold, these relics can be upgraded to a better version of itself, usually with a lower cooldown and a buff. Now that we've gone over what relics are, let's get into what relics you need for your role and your gods. With ADC and mid lane, you want to be as selfish as you can with your relics. And what I mean by that, you want to get beads and Aegis. If you're asking why is this selfish, it keeps you alive from getting trapped by the enemy team, and there is nothing wrong with that. You are meant to stay alive no matter what. You are important for dealing heavy damage. Without you, your team cannot deal the proper damage it can do. It doesn't mean they can't do any, but they're not doing their full potential. If you're dead, you can't do that. Beads stop you from getting heavy CC'd, while Aegis lets you be invincible for a few seconds. If you don't like the idea of being completely selfish, you can trade out Aegis for maybe Heavenly Wings to get away from, ganks and bad team fights. But Aegis in the end will probably be better for you and your team, just in the long run, just for staying alive. With support, it depends on the god you're playing. But for the most part, you want Blink and Frenzy. Blink and Frenzy works really good with Ymir and Horus. Blink lets you teleport up to 45 units instantly. This is good for initiating team fights. This is good for catching up enemies, for stunning enemies, especially if you're running with a god of Horus or Ymir like I said beforehand. Their knockups and freeze are amazing for this, for initiating or just catching up to an enemy and killing him, or finishing him off. Blink also can be used for a more supportive means of catching up to teammates or just getting out of a fight. Frenzy is used for your team to increase damage and attack speed for like around 5 seconds. This is really good for team fights and taking big objectives like Oni Fury, Gold Fury, or Fire Giant. But these relics might not work the best for some gods like Yamoja. With Yamoja, you probably want to replace the Blink with maybe a Shell for added protections. Not Meditation. Meditation can be easily countered. Maybe a Shell or Horrific Glyph. It just depends on how you're feeling and how the match is going. But in the end, you always want a Frenzy on your support god, just for the simple fact of getting that extra damage in for team fights and to taking objectives. And Blink is an optional point. You can always switch it out for something else, like Shell or Wings or Heavenly Wings for getting in and out of team fights. For junglers, your relic layout is pretty basic. At the start of the match, you get Blink or Beads, depending on what you want. Depending if they have a lot of CC on the enemy team, or if your god you're playing with can't really jump into fights. Example might be Thanatos, who can't really jump into fights that well. And the opposite hand, you have Bakasaurus with his jump or Kali. But you're going to start out either getting Blink or Beads. And after that, you usually want to go with something else. If you're not going to get Beads, probably want to go with Horrific to slow down enemy if you're having trouble catching up with them. But that's pretty much it for just junglers. And with jungle, solo is pretty much limited with the relics they can use, but the variety is there. First off, you're going to need Teleport Glyph. I hate to say it, if you want to lose tower, if you don't want to lose your tower early, then Teleport Glyph is going to be there for you. This is basically going to let you teleport to any ally Phoenix or tower that's on the map. You need this so you can get back to your solo lane anytime. And the other item is basically up to you what you want to choose the other relic. Me, I like going on Thorns for tankier solo gods like Bellona or maybe Cthulhu. Thorns lets you reflect 40% of the damage you take back to attacker. But also what you can do, you can also get Blink too. This is good for initiating team fights, getting on those squishier enemies. I suggest going in that for maybe like Tyr or Achilles. It's also really good for catching up enemies with low health. But I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will be doing more guides in the future. I'm soon going to be doing a guide for every role in Smite, so stick around for that. As always, hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.